How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine, man. The tour's starting tomorrow, so I'm ready to rock.
I know I mean, this really has to be like Christmas Eve for you. You got a tour starting tomorrow, album drops tomorrow. It's just like everything's happening at once.
Yeah, it is. It's like Christmas Eve. Let's see, but except that you're the parents who have to wrap everything because we have rehearsal. I mean, not that we don't know our parts, but we might not know all of our parts. All right, just
Sure.
saying.
I mean, when you have 25 years of songs to choose from, you got to once in a while go, okay, wait, which one what do I say here again?
Yeah, exactly. It's what it is. But no, we're super pumped, man.
Yeah. Well, John, man, I appreciate you jumping on with us. You'll be here on Sunday, and I don't know if you know this one yet, but the show is sold out.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's what I'm talking about. Come on
Yeah.
now.
Yep. Yeah. Just it was a Tuesday night, actually would have been sold out earlier, but then all of a sudden we did a couple things, fit a couple more people in there, but Tuesday night,
Wow.
all of them are gone.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for pumping it up. I really appreciate it, man. It means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we're looking forward to it. We know you've been here in the Quad Cities before, but not at this venue. So that's a great lineup. I mean, you guys, Theory of a Deadman and Saint Asonia, that is three in a row of just go, 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 isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those things. It's finding tour packages is not as easy as I used to think it would be. Like when you're growing up and you're listening to music, you're like, how come Van Halen and Metallica just don't tour together? It's just like that would just be duh. Like,
Right.
you just think that would be easy to get, Motley Crue and Metallica and Van Halen all on the same bill, but it's
Makes
really
sense.
not. And of course, I'm not comparing myself to Metallica or Van Halen, by the way. But the point is it's not that easy. And I was so thrilled. Now we toured with Theory of Dead Man probably in 2012 or 13, I believe it was. Had a great time, and before you know it, 8 or 9 years has gone by, and we haven't toured together again. And it's coming up, and then I'm so excited about being out with Saint Asonia, and there's a cool connection there because when Adam was with 3 Days Grace, 3 Days was one of the first bands that ever took Skillet out, and in about 2000, maybe 2007 or 8, I can't remember which one,
It
and it was
blurs.
on that. A lot of rock fans probably remember because it was an amazing tour. It was the Breaking Benjamin, 3 Days Grace, and Seether, and it went for like 12 months all across the nation, and we got to be on about 6 or 8 weeks of that tour, and so it's just great to reconnect with Adam, and then I've never met the rest of the band, and so getting to meet the band and play together is just a real treat.
That's very cool. Well, I talked to Tyler last week actually about their new album and the show and everything else, and he mentioned that it sounds like the tour is going to be rolling through with a little bit more production, a little bit bigger, and he said there might be some surprises. He didn't tell me what, but he just said there might be some surprises. So I'm like, okay, leave them wanting more. Okay.
Well, one of that's always a good thing to say. There's surprises because then you don't have to commit to anything. Maybe the surprise is that hello, we sucked this year. Like it was the worst band ever. There's a surprise. No, but there are some surprises. I think one of the ones that I can say now. When I was first doing interviews 4 weeks ago, it was still kind of on the DL because we hadn't released the single, but we released one of the songs on our upcoming project, and we have Adam from Saint Asonia is guest vocal on the song, which is kind of such an honor for me. I'm just a huge fan, so I hope people don't mind if I fanboy. So I was like, dude, and if he's on the song, then we have to sing it on tour, and so it's going to be so cool having Adam come join us on first song. That's a pretty cool surprise. There's a lot of other ones as well, but that one's pretty cool to me.
That is what I was going to ask. I was like, okay, I see this, the song list here for the album. I see Finish Line with Adam. I'm like, they gotta play this one, right?
Right. Yeah, we're so excited, and we're playing a couple of other new tunes. And production is pretty killer, especially for the size tour that it is. So I think people are going to be very, very excited. It's just a lot of good music. I'm
Yeah.
pretty pumped up about it. All
Well, I mean,
killer, no filler.
yeah, I mean, obviously they're excited. I mean, it's sold out. So, I mean, how do you, when you go into any tour, you look at it and go, okay, we've got 20 years of music to choose from. How are we narrowing it down to, 90-ish minutes?
Right, right. Well, let's see. I mean, I was thinking about making a joke. It's almost like part of it's easy because there's a lot of songs you write that no one likes. So those go away. I guess.
Sure.
I guess that goes away. Track 13 and 14 on the deluxe edition. No,
Right.
I'm kind of
Yeah.
I'm I'm just joking around, but there are some songs to be fair that may not be necessarily your big hits, but that come across live. There's some songs that you got to see this song live. I mean, I know I've felt that with other bands before. Maybe I recognize it's not a radio song. Maybe it doesn't fit that, but it's the one you got to see live.
Yeah.
I think we all know that feeling with bands, and so Skillet tries to certainly make the fans happy, because if you don't play Monster, people are going to be just totally pissed. So
Yeah.
you're gonna play Monster, you're gonna play Feel Invincible, you're gonna play the songs that people are gonna like throttle you if you don't, and
Sure.
then throw in some of those songs that to me that I know fans resonate with, because you meet fans every night, and they tell you this is the song that meant a lot to me, and sometimes you hear the same song over and over, even if it wasn't a hit, and so it gives me a feeling of, all right, this is what fans want to hear, and for me it's all about what fans want. It's not about what I want. I want to do something that's going to be meaningful to them, help get them through a hard work week, and
Yeah.
in this insane volatile time we're living in, where people go, man, I want to have fun and not worry about all the stuff happening and all the people yelling on social media and all the division. Let's have a good time. That's what it's about for me. And I think certainly that's what people are going to get with a Skillet show in general, and certainly with this tour. It's just going to be, it's a party night.
Yeah. And I mean, I couldn't have said it better. I mean, I always say, concerts, they're obviously about the music, but it's so much about that experience. You're there with your fellow rock fan. It's our little sanctuary where we get together and just, like you said, just all the rest of it out of your head, and just enjoy that for that, 3 hours.
You know what? I think that's a great way to say it. And the name of the tour is Rock Resurrection. So we need that sanctuary for rock resurrection. You see, there's a lot of spiritual talk, but it's true. I remember a few years back. Oh gosh, I'm about to make myself sound super old. Sorry, not a few years back, like 15 years ago, no, 12 years ago. But you'll probably remember, because you've been in music for so long. Do you remember when people first started holding their phones up to record concerts? And it
Yes.
was right. And for bands, people were like, we weren't used to it, and I loved it. But some bands were a little bit like, dude, they're not even paying attention to the show. Put your phones down and live in the moment, and it's going to go on YouTube. And I was never like that, because I was like, good, promote me to all of your friends, please. But anyway,
Yeah.
the point of it is that for some people, they were wondering, would the ubiquitous nature of all this footage being on YouTube make people not want to come to concerts because they've already seen it. But I always said, no, that is not true, because it's cool to watch live footage on YouTube, but you're not experiencing it. You're not in the moment. You're not with 2,000 other people who are all, I mean, think about it like this. It's like going to a sporting event. Sports and music is the only thing that Americans can agree on. So you get to go to a music event, and everybody in the room is feeling this same thing, no matter where you come from, no matter what you believe, no matter who you vote for, whatever, how much money you got, nobody cares. You're in there for the moment. And that cannot be replaced by YouTube, streaming, or whatever other thing you want, TikTok. That's good for another thing. You'll never replace an experience of a live band, as far as I'm concerned.
100%. To me, yeah, I think the clips just make me want to go see it more. It's not, oh, I got everything here on the screen, now I'm good. It's like, that looks amazing. Why is that not one here with us?
I totally agree. Especially when, for when I watch people, like a clip that, let's see, a YouTube video that I watch twice a month in my dressing room as I'm getting ready for shows is like Stevie Ray Vaughan, and all I think is, oh my gosh, I wish I would have seen Stevie live. I mean,
Right.
I'm so thankful for the clips on YouTube, but man, I'd pay a lot of money to have seen that, so I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, you don't want to miss out. And there's gonna be a lot of people Sunday night that won't be missing out when you guys are in town. So we're gonna talk about the new album here in a second, because that comes out tomorrow. If you're on the World Wide Web and you're watching this on Thursday, it comes out tomorrow. If you're watching it later, it might already be out for you. So but it comes out officially on February 17th, new album. So we'll get to that in a second. But a little bit more on touring. I mean, yourself, Corey, Jen, Seth, all out on the road together for the next month and a half or so. Now, a lot of times, the rock star goes out on the road, and whoever the significant other is back at home to take care of the kids and, feed the dogs and water the plants and all that kind of stuff. You and Corey out together, who do you got to, feed your dogs? What are your plans? Think of the plants, John.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
what do you guys do with that support system to help you out when you both have to be out on the road?
Absolutely. Well, yeah. For some people that don't know, my wife Corey, we've been touring together for 25 years. That's our 27th year of Skillet, 26 years of marriage coming next month. All right. So yeah, we've lived our whole marriage on the road. Our kids were born and began coming on the road at. My daughter started coming back on the road at 3 months. My wife probably got back into playing live a little too early. 3 months is not enough time. So for our second kid, we waited for about 6 months. But they've been on the road their whole lives. And in fact, my kids toured with Theory of a Dead Man and 3 Days Grace. And, they've been in Europe and, played with Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath and the Greats and all these amazing bands. So we're very blessed. Our kids get to come on the road. They've grown up seeing what the rock and roll life is all about. And there's a real camaraderie backstage with bands because we all get it. It's a wonderful life, but it's a little bit of a hard life. If anybody's ever seen documentaries on like wrestling or like, Randy Savage or Ric Flair, if they've ever watched those documentaries and they see how hard the road life is, it's rock and roll is very similar to that. Sort of like Journey, the band Journey said, circus life,
Right.
it's like circus life kind of. And so the camaraderie of bands has been amazing because no one would ever believe that, my daughter, when she was 8 years old, played Barbie dolls with, Maria from In This Moment, I think it's one of my favorite things I've ever seen. I remember walking into catering and my daughter was, playing Barbie dolls with Maria. I was like, nobody would believe this was happening. It's the coolest thing. It's hysterical. I remember we were touring with Stone Sour and Hailstorm years ago. And so my family would play Foursquare because we were looking for something to do with the kids. And so we draw the chalk and we play Foursquare, and little by little other bands would be like, oh, I want to play. And the next thing you know, there's the most hyper competitive game of Foursquare, like prison rules. All right. Foursquare. And I remember Corey Taylor was like, no one would believe that like the addiction, the drug of choice for this tour is Foursquare. It's people are ready to slit throats over it. It kind of became a big joke, So we've been very blessed, not just to have their family, but blessed that other bands have treated my kids like their own. And so I gotta, all those bands I just mentioned, I'm so thankful for them. They treated us really well. So that's what we do.
That is awesome. That's very cool. It's interesting. You mentioned like the drug of choice being Foursquare on that tour. I mean, obviously the road can be a tough place for certain musicians out there. I mean, they go on the road and they fall back into bad habits, whether it's, women, men, drugs, whatever it might be. Obviously don't have that problem with you. You've got that great support system around you. But is there something that when you are out there, is there Foursquare or a video game, or do you fall back into, eating Skittles every night? Is there something that tempts you when you're out on the road that you're just like, I got to stay away from the cookies?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think what I decide, what really worked for Skillet, and I sometimes make a joke and I say Skillet is the most boring non-rock star lifestyle. People saw it, they'd be like, wow, that's not rock star at all. We're not boring people. We're actually, I'm kind of overly animated. But what I learned on the road was that if I want to do this for 20, 30 years, which I never dreamed I would, and now I am, which is amazing. But you really have to be a disciplined person, because you're going to physically suffer. My voice will suffer. All these things in my life are not going to work as well if I don't take care of my body and stuff. So because of that, I'm very disciplined on the road. I work out every day. I watch what I eat, things like that. But being totally honest with you, when I get really tired and exhausted, yes, I want cookies and Dr. Pepper. And I know that might sound tame to some people, but Dr. Pepper and cookies are actually not good for you. They're not good for your voice. You don't fit into your stage clothes. You get winded on stage, and you're supposed to be on stage. You're supposed to be like Lenny Kravitz, where people think maybe you're 30, but they don't really know. Are you 50 or 30? That's what you're supposed to be like, and cookies don't help. So yeah, I have to stay away from the cookies, and I do a pretty good job of it. But I've just lived a very disciplined life on the road so that we can do all of those things. And then I try to be, as cheesy as it might sound to some people, I try to be as positive and encouraging as I can to other bands when we tour, because I know that not everybody has that support system. People are going through all their own stuff, and you don't know what it is. And I just want people to feel a little bit of optimism and a sort of a hey, you can do this, man. It's okay. Don't give in to that. Some days are going to be bad. Sometimes your career is not going to go the way you want it to. You can't control that, but you can control your own actions. You can control, you're sort of the master of your life a little bit here. You can control not hurting your body and hurting your mental health by giving in to negativity. And that might sound cheesy for some people, but a lot of people suffer on the road, and I try to be a positive influence if I can.
Absolutely. And you joke about the cookies and Dr. Pepper, but I mean, I don't think they're having an effect on you. I'm not going to call out your age right here, but I did look it up on Wikipedia. Dude, you look good for your age. Like, don't the cookies aren't hurting you, man. You're doing all right.
Well, thank you. Good. Then is he 30 or 50 might be working today over Zoom. That is, when you see me in person, we'll see. When people see us on stage and I pass out, we'll see.
Well, I haven't put one of those filters on this video. We'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but make it black and white. Mainly black.
Yeah. All right, let's talk new album. Dominion Day of Destiny, 17 tracks. And usually you see a new album nowadays and it's like barely over 10. You guys got 17 tracks coming on this new album. I mean, obviously I've heard a couple, Surviving the Game, and right now rocking with Psycho in My Head. What else with this album that you're just excited for to share with everyone tomorrow?
Well, yeah, we always want to give extra to the fans, you know what I mean? So I love having a lot of extra songs. Why not? You're getting the deluxe, let's deluxe it up. Yeah. And I think that the extra songs are quite good. In fact, Psycho in My Head, I think is maybe our catchiest, maybe even annoyingly catchy, the kind you can't get out of your head. I think it's one of the best ones we've done in a few years. So I think that's a real win. Plus we have Finish Line, as I mentioned already, with Adam from Saint Asonia is guest vocaling on the song, which is such a treat for fans. Fans get, they love to see their people join together in a mashup. It's totally wicked, right? So that's good. But we have some other great songs on the deluxe version as well. And so I just wanted to have a little bit of diversity on the extra songs. Finish Line is a very different song than Psycho in My Head, very different style. But I wanted it to be something that people could relate to and could rock out to, because we're kind of we're kind of we're on the backside of all the lockdown and COVID stuff. People are really getting back into their lives now. A lot of people are saying, okay, now we're finally back, and they want some new music to get them through. So that's what we try to do. Very positive. It's a very positive record, you know.
Good. That was interesting that you talk about the positivity. You know, when I was talking to Tyler about their new album, he's like, you know, this new one, he said, it's having fun. We got back just having fun with it. And I seeing that theme more, where you kind of had those 2020 albums that came out that was just, what are we going to do? Everything's this. And now all the albums coming out are, yeah, let's just be positive and have some fun and, you know, get back to rock and roll.
Yeah. Well, I think that's also why, you know, our record that released last year, nearly just exactly a year ago, is called Dominion, you know, which was it was a very positive take on, yeah, things are bad, but that's okay. You can't control a pandemic. You can't control whatever it is that's bothering you from the outside, but you can control your heart. People have, I mean, I understand why people are depressed, but you have a say in that, you know, and let's get out of this mode. And so here we are a year later, things are looking a lot better. People are getting a little bit more optimistic. And so that's why I wanted to name the deluxe version Day of Destiny. You know, I thought that was really cool. Like, okay, it's time, you know, or excuse me, Day of Dominion, excuse me. Day of Dominion. It's time. It's time. We've been fighting for this. We're here. Take back some control of your life.
Yeah. You know, for your songs in general, when you go into writing any of them, do you go into the song thinking, okay, I'm going to write this one specifically knowing I'm singing the whole thing, or I'm going into this one thinking this is going to be a combo with me and Jen, or this is going to be all four of us? Because I mean, I think all four of you just, you know, vocalize and harmonize perfectly. So when you start writing that song, do you have that already kind of in your head, or does that just kind of happen through the process?
That's a great question. I would say it's a mix. Typically, I don't think, all right, this is going to be me, but I need other people on it, or this or the other. Sometimes I will say, this would be a great song to have my drummer, Jen. This would be a killer song to have Jen singing on. Sometimes it hits me like that. And that might be from some of my influences, like Linkin Park. You know, one of the things I love about Linkin Park is right when you wouldn't expect it, you would have the other guy, you know, so maybe you have the rapping and you're not expecting the singing, then you get the singing, or the other way around. And you're like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. That was really cool. Now that's something that hip hop does really well. Hip hop is such a, you know, they're synthesizing a lot of different formats. And so you're not expecting it. And all sorts of urban music is so great for those things, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that Linkin Park is one of many bands that bring that into rock music. And I thought, you know, why don't we do some of that? You're not expecting a girl vocal to come in. And so I try to not overdo it, because if you overdo it, then everybody's like, oh yeah, it's not a shock anymore. So It just kind of depends. I typically just set out to write something that I feel, something that moves me emotionally. And if it hits me to have a girl vocal or a different harmony part, then I'll do it as it's going. Sometimes you can try to force it in, and then I don't think it's good. Then it to me, it feels like there's no need to force something, you know? It's like Ray Charles said, you know, I'm going to make it do what it do, baby.
Well, you do just fine, don't you?
I don't know, but he sure did. So I'm trying my best.
Yeah, and I mean, you must do just fine, because obviously the show is sold out. So I'm gonna wrap things up here in just 1 second. One more question I got to ask you. So we know it's a sold out show on Sunday. Going to be all sorts of people there. They know Skillet. They love Skillet. What about for that person that's out there that doesn't know the band? What is that one song that John Cooper says, go listen to this one, you'll understand what Skillet's about, and then you'll become a fan?
Oh, well, I probably would say Monster, because it's our biggest song. And it's the one that everywhere we go, you know, most people, even if they don't know Skillet, they know Monster, you know, and that's always pretty cool, pretty exciting. If people want maybe a newer taste of that, I would say check out maybe check out The Resistance. The Resistance is a very uniquely Skillet song. It sounds a bit more, it has a lot of our different influences, some of the electronics and the hip hops, but also the arena rock and the ultra positivity, like this is how we rise up, and sort of a call to action, to love people that are not like you, love people who disagree with you, find ways. We have to live in this country. This is the greatest country in the world. We shouldn't forget that. You got to live in this country with people who don't agree with you. And it's cool to have opinions, and it's cool to say those opinions, because I'm all about free speech. But in the end of the day, let's find a way to love people that don't like my speech. And I've got to love people that I don't like their speech, because we are living together in the greatest country in the world. And we have, not to preach, but we have the liberty to say what we believe, and we should not be wanting to throw that away. So all of that is wrapped up into the song, The Resistance, and it's a call to resist hate. And I think that that's a really good thing to do.
Beautiful. That's a perfect way to end it. So maybe we'll hear that one on Sunday. We'll keep the set list a surprise.
You will hear that one. That won't be a surprise. You will hear that one.
Okay. Other surprises then, but we will hear that one for sure on Sunday. John, man, I appreciate it so much. Awesome talking with you. Tour starts tomorrow. Album, deluxe edition drops tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on Sunday, and the whole tour is going to be amazing. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you on Sunday.
Yeah, peace. Rock out, brother. See you soon.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.